Would everyone please stand to greet the seminary class graduating today, 2018, Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary. Welcome, everyone. Reverend Grace Telesco and I are graduates of the world's very first Interfaith Seminary, which was founded by a man we revere, honor, and refer to as the father of Interfaith, Rabbi Joseph Gelman. Today, we are blessed to have with us two of the very first students to graduate under Rabbi Gelman's guidance, Reverend Silmar Sanchez, who will be arriving shortly, and Rabbi Renee Teller. Before we begin, I'd like to tell you that many religions defer to their elders when initiating a sacred ceremony of any kind, and we would like to ask one of our beloved faculty and spiritual advisory members, Urban Priestess Ephraim Maxey, to honor us with her blessing and offering permission from the ancestors so that we may begin this ordination ceremony.
On behalf of the ancestors,
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you all for being here to honor, witness, and bless this very sacred occasion. This day serves as a transformation from student status, seminarian status, to ordained interfaith ministers for four very dedicated, hardworking, determined, beautifully blessed, sacred servants of the divine. I am Reverend Lori Cardona. I am co-founder with Reverend Grace Telesco of Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary. And we have been indeed on a sacred journey from a day in 2013 when we took a seed idea to be the very first and only boots on the ground, meaning they have to be here to experience the entire seminary experience. Our first brick and mortar interfaith seminary in the entire Southeast United States. To this day, where we gather with you to ordain our second graduating class of the Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary, the class of 2018. This day is made holy because they answered the call to ministry, and today they take their vows before God and before each of you. And as such, this day is made holy also by your presence. Thank you so much for being here. Namaste. We are so grateful and blessed to have esteemed clergy and members of our faculty, spiritual advisory board here today to represent many of the faith practices that our seminarians have studied over 2 years. Please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced.
Sister Reverend Christina Drum, Assistant Dean and Guardian of the Dartmouth Center for Spiritual Evolution. Brother Christopher Goff from St. Francis and Clare, and he is representing Father Joe Spina, who serves as faculty and a board member. Ethan Lionel Maxey, Yoruban priestess, faculty member, spiritual advisory board member, and our beautiful guest who just is going to be also doing a beautiful interfaith invocation. Reverend Kate Meth, interfaith minister and advisory board member. Sheikh Shafayat Muhammad, leader of Al-Hikmat services at Darul Uloom. Reverend Brenda Menist, assistant dean and guardian of the Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution. Reverend Opal Murray, Unitarian Universalist, Fort Lauderdale. Reverend Vernell Nelson from Golden Light Unity Ministries. Sri Narayan Phillips from the Yoga Research Foundation and Ashram in Miami, representing His Holiness Sri Swami Jyotirmayanandaji, our revered guru and member of our Spiritual Advisory Board. Reverend Margarita Rodriguez, Sunshine Cathedral and Divine Science Minister. Reverend Silmar Sanchez we're waiting for her to arrive, and she is an interfaith minister on our Spiritual Advisory Board and our keynote speaker today. Reverend Joel Slotnick, United Church of Christ, and is on our Spiritual Advisory Board and a great supporter. Rabbi Rain Teller, who is the director of Hashem's House in Texas, is on our Spiritual Advisory Board and is a direct student from Rabbi Yeldon. Reverend Mary Walker, Assistant Dean and Guardian of the Darshan Center for Spiritual Evolution. Let's welcome our dais.
Well, we wouldn't have a second graduating class if it hadn't been for the fact that we had the first graduating class. So it took us, when Dean Grace and I sat down to determine whether or not we can actually start a seminary and everything that took place and had to take place in order for it to happen, it took us about 9 months. So we feel like we birthed these babies. And then 2 years later, they were ordained. So this is the class, so glad to have you with us, the class of 2016. Please stand so you can all know. And because of the support that we've received and because of the ongoing dream, we have another class that is starting. The class of 2019 is also here with us. These are our juniors. Thank you for being here. We will continue to grow them.
And so now we will be honored and blessed with a series of interfaith invocations presented for you and for us to really bless and support this beautiful ceremony, beginning with the Native American blessing, followed by the pouring of libations in the Yoruban tradition, a Hebrew blessing in the Jewish tradition, the call to prayer in the Islamic tradition, and a Sanskrit chant in the Hindu tradition. I invite Reverend Kate Meth for the Native American blessing.
Good morning. Welcome to this beautiful day. This is from our Cherokee brothers and sisters, giving thanks. O Great One, we come before you in a humble manner, offering what gifts we have, giving thanks for the gift of life that we've been given. Amidst the beauty of this creation, so that we may learn to walk the path of good medicine as we give thanks to each of the 4 directions, to the spirit of fire, warmth, and light in the east, to the spirit of earth, peace, and renewal in the south, to the spirit of water, purity and strength in the west, to the spirit of wind, wisdom and giving in the north. We give thanks to Mother Earth and to the sacred fire which burns brightly in our hearts, offering us the precious gifts of clarity, openness, strength, and wisdom. As we walk the path of peace, we give thanks to all our relations and for the beauty of all things, for those who walk alongside us, for those who have come before us, for those yet to come. In harmony and balance, we give thanks, O Great One. We give thanks. Why don't?
And now, a Ruben libation blessing from Priestess Stephanie Max.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I ask you to focus on the spirits of your deceased relatives and spiritual advisors, because without them, we would not be. And so the prayer is focused on that, invoking their spirits to join us. Omi tutu, ona tutu, ile tutu, tutulore, mojuba alofi, mojuba olorun, mojuba olodumare. Olorun alabasu daye, alabasu nife, olorun loju, olorun olomi, olorun koko jibere, olorun onu. Mojuba ashida, mojuba akoda, mojuba ye odun, ani odun, odun ola. Mojuba baba, mojuba ye, mojuba ara, mojuba ile. Mojuba bobo wan lodo, otuko, timila ye, and belese olorun, olodumare. Ara, Runi, Baye, Larin, Tarun, Naro, Salia, Borea, Funchawada, Kondo, and all the ancestor priests of Africa and the diaspora, all the ancestor priests of all traditions on this planet. We give thanks. We also consecrate and call upon all the ancestors of those who are present. Kinka Masheo, Bailumi, Kinka Masheo, Fini Fumaladi, and all of our godparents, those who have led us in our traditions and our faith. Kosi Ku, Kosi Aaron, Kosi Eo, Kosi Ofo, Kosi Udina, Kosi Wahala, Kosi Ashalu, Kosi Fitibos. Fumini Rea Riku, Fumini Rea Otanawa, Fumini Rea Aye, Fumini Rea Lisa, Risha, Fumini Rea Didawa Tolakun, Aruka Baba Wa, Rukia Wa, Dupe Asheo, 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 Asheo. We give thanks for this glorious new day, for the breath and for the life that you have given. And we ask for the blessings of peace on these, our leaders, Dean Grace and Dean Telesco and Dean Cardona and all of the graduates. Asheo, 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 Asheo.
And now, a Hebrew blessing from Rabbi Elaine Teller.
Oh, good morning. Or as I love to say, shalom on the range. Great state of Texas. Yeah, I hear Reverend's voice, Reverend Joseph Gelberman, and I asked, what should I say? He said, tell them that Jews know how to suffer. Having said that to you, I want to tell you something. There is a silver lining in that little sentence. As Gelberman would say, we Jews know how to suffer, but we also know how to rejoice. Because when you have seen the bottom, you look up and you recognize the top. So we have a very special prayer. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechionu v'kiyamonu v'higimonu lazman hazeh, which simply means, Dear Hashem, thank you for allowing us to live to this day, to enjoy this moment, and to know what joy truly is. Amen. Amen.
And now, an Islamic call to prayer, Sheikh Shafat Muhammad, we invite you with now.
So first of all, I want to thank God Almighty for blessing me to be here with you all, and thank Reverend Grace and Reverend Laurie for inviting me, and I pray that God bless all graduates, past graduates, this year graduates. I want to also make an apology on fasting. We've been without food and water for the past few hours and for the next many hours. So bear with my voice. I was requested by grace to do the call of prayer in Arabic. And you probably hear this a lot. It's the prayer that is being called 5 times a day for people to come to pray. It means God is the greatest. God is the greatest. I testify that there is no God but the God, the one and only God, none like him. And I testify that Muhammad, peace be upon him, is the messenger of God. Come to prayer, come to success, come to prayer, come to success. God is the greatest, God is the greatest. And that's what you hear in Arabic throughout the world, wherever you go before the prayer begins. So I'll now recite that. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة
that represent many of the faith practices that our seminarians have studied. Representing indigenous spirituality, we will be presenting a sarape. A sarape is a blanket that comes from the Mexican tradition, which is my heritage, and this also happens to be the sarape that belonged to my mother when she was a little girl. So we're very honored and blessed to have that with us today, and it will be covering the altar where the rest of the sacred objects will be placed. And this is a Mayan prayer. From the house of heaven, where our ancestors gather, may your blessings come to show us now, and from the house of earth, may the heartbeat of her core bless us with harmony.
Representing the goddess tradition, a statue of Gaia is presented. From the charge of the goddess, for behold, I have been with thee from the beginning, and I am that which is attained at the end of desire.
Representing Taoism, the Tao Te Ching is presented. The Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao.
Representing Sufism, the Rumi collection is presented. And you, when will you begin that long journey into yourself?
Representing Kabbalah, the Zohar is presented. You beings on earth who are in deep slumber, awake.
Representing Hinduism, the Bhagavad Gita is presented. The seeker who is free from hatred toward all beings, friendly and compassionate to all, free from attachment and egoism, who is forgiving and balanced in pleasure and pain, such a devotee is dear to me.
Representing Sikhism, Guru Granth Sahib is presented. O my mind, you are the embodiment of divine light. Recognize your own origin.
Representing Buddhism, the Tibetan bell is presented. And from the Dhammapada, conquer the angry one by not getting angry. Conquer the wicked by goodness. Conquer the stingy by generosity. And the liar by speaking the truth.
Representing Judaism, the Torah is presented. And from the Mishnah, peace to you, ministering angels, messengers of the Most High.
Representing Islam, the Quran is presented. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful, praise be to God, the cherisher and the sustainer.
Representing New Thought teachings, a Course in Miracles presented. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God.
And representing Christianity, this is my grandmother's Bible, presented, and from the Testament. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and love your neighbor as yourself.
Now, musical selection by our graduates.
That which the Creator has made can never be destroyed.
Our keynote speaker for this morning is one of the original graduates of the world's first Interfaith Seminary, the new Seminary, under the guidance of the Rabbi Joseph Government. She has been consistent in providing ministerial services since that day, back in the 90s, I believe it was, soon after the seminary was introduced to the world as a viable option for teaching ministers how to be of sacred service. Reverend Silmar Sanchez and I met when we were doing chaplaincy work at a hospice, but in addition to that, she's done many works of service in our community. She has served as one of the original board members of LMC Interfaith Ministry, which is the ordaining body for Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary, and she also serves as an advisor to Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary. So we're very honored and proud to have with us Reverend Silmar Sanchez.
Let's take an inspiration together and enter into the kingdom within the proverbial kingdom of heaven so that we can connect with ourselves, with each other, and with all there is. So together we inspire. Make it deep, long, and slow. Dean Lori Cardona, Dean Grace Delesco, distinguished faculty, alumni and guests of the Sacred Path Seminary School. It is my great honor and a cherished privilege to speak to you upon this momentous occasion. My joy and gratitude for this pivotal moment is immense and hopefully contagious, for it is a perfect moment to experience our oneness. Today will be forever significant in the lives of the graduating class and the faculty of the Sacred Path Seminary School. An ancient promise has been fulfilled, the promise for which you graduates came into this world for. It is a day of rejoicing for the path that you have chosen, and for the effort you made to complete this worthy journey. Whether you recall or not, when you came forth into this world, when you made the commitment to become an interfaith minister, it doesn't really matter. What matters is that you did make that commitment and followed through with the curriculum and the assignments to the satisfaction of this institution and its faculty. So, congratulations. What we are experiencing here today through the sacred ordination ritual is merely the outer manifestation, or its form, which is a symbol pointing to the inner essence of what it represents. Nevertheless, its reality is so vast and eternal that no form can ever contain it. This path you have chosen is not an easy one. However, it is a lofty and joyful one. It is a path of love and service to each other, to the earth's creatures, and to all other living things, and of course to our Creator. In choosing the Sacred Path Seminary School, you have elected to follow an all-encompassing, truly elevated course of study. It emulates the true meaning of the word religion, which comes from the Latin word religio, meaning to rebind, to reunite, to rejoin. Rabbi Joseph Gelberman, our teacher, and the founder of the new seminary, from which, of course, Dean Laurie and Dean Drace were ordained, told a story about the spiritual origins of our cherished seminary school, the first of its kind. Upon completing his coursework for a doctorate in psychology and counseling and beginning his practice, he met and befriended a yogi master who had recently arrived in New York City from India. His name was Swami Satchitananda, another of my revered teachers. The Swami had been denied performing marriage ceremonies and other sacred rites because the law had considered yoga to be a philosophy and not a religion. Rabbi Gelberman was distraught about this discrimination and had prayed for a solution. When one morning, upon awakening, he saw 3 imposingly large figures standing at the foot of his bed. One was Abraham, another was Moses, and the third one was Jesus. He addressed the figures before him, saying, "Rabbi Abraham and Rabbi Moses, I know why you are here. But Rabbi Jesus, what are you doing here?" He said that Jesus was the only one who spoke and answered him by saying, "Bring back together that which has been split asunder." That's all he needed. This command was what gave Rabbi Gelberman the impetus to create a seminary school that would bring all religions together as Jesus had requested. It was the conception of the new seminary and the birth of the Interfaith movement, which began with the ordination of Swami Satchitananda as an interfaith minister and faculty member of the new seminary, which he fulfilled until his death. The rabbi, who lived into his late 90s, kept ordaining hundreds of interfaith ministers who continue bringing together that which had been split asunder. The motto of his seminary schools said, "One truth, many paths, never instead of, but always in addition to it." I found the new seminary following a life-altering revelation and a title which made me recognize that I needed education and study to understand and fulfill what had been presented to me. When it happened in mid-1991, I had just completed my first year of graduate studies in psychology with counseling practices and had begun my second and final year. I quickly recognized that my spiritual path had been revealed to me, and I had to answer the call to serve God. So I immediately withdrew from academia and entered seminary school. Ordination from the new seminary was for me a transcendental and sacred rite rite of passage, and the single most significant moment in my entire life, which still is. It was the day when I vowed to love and serve my Creator with all my heart, my soul, my mind, my strength, and to teach the lessons of love and truth, and to serve others, no matter what form they may be in, animal, mineral, vegetable. It doesn't matter, it's all one. So, this was an experience of love and devotion so full and so deep that I really find it difficult to describe in words. It made my purpose clear, my function and my life clear. So while I am still expressing in physical form, this has been the greatest gift to guide me. I have blessed, praised, and cherished this new seminary since my ordination in 1993 in the Gothic Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Today, you, graduating class of 2018, have arrived at the sweet junction in which you begin your ministry of teaching the lessons of love that will help to bring our world closer to peace and goodwill, bringing together again. How blessed are you who committed to this journey and found the all-inclusive seminary school sacred path, which brings together a curriculum and an experience of true service to God and His kingdom. And also truly blessed to be part of something great, something transcendent, which the Faculty of Sacred Path Seminary School fosters by having created a spiritual community of which they are an integral part. They lead and participate fully with their hearts, their minds, and their souls, and thus have brought this interfaith ministry to a new level, a higher octave, one that supports love, service, and devotion, which is a true spiritual family. Richard Bach, in his book Illusions, said, "The bond that links your true family is not one of blood, but one of respect and joy in each other's life. Rarely do members of one family grow up under the same roof." I always loved his book Illusions. As you go forward in the world like the followers of truth have done before you, your minds will encounter many challenges and seeming obstacles that will confront you. I confronted one today. Getting here. But we must remember that challenges and obstacles are perceptions in the ego's mind, the small self. Because spirit, which is connected to the holiest of holies, has no challenges and no obstacles. It is forever in a state of grace, guiding us toward the peace that surpasses all understanding. I want to share with you the best ever gift we have, and that is to connect with deep within and listen to this still small voice to guide us and show us the way. That is the most amazing gift for you to remember you have within. You just have to take a little time to get from here to here. So, other tools that I have found to navigate this world of illusion are forgiveness and its outcome, which is happiness. According to A Course in Miracles, our function is forgiveness, and our purpose is happiness. So forgiveness sets us free in the mind by shifting our perception of separation into one of union. Happiness is the consequence of forgiveness. So as you begin your journey as an ordained interfaith minister, you will be spreading the words of joy, peace, and love to your appointed assignments. All will come to you. Therefore, wherever you go, always keep in mind your guidance, your function, and your happiness, your function and your purpose. peace and the understanding which come from knowing that what is real can never be threatened, being whole and eternal. So go on, go forth with these beautiful gifts of spirit and use them as handy tools to bring forth heaven on earth. Thank you. Thank you so much. Please come forward for this.
I'm the Lord of sea and sky. I have heard my people cry. All who dwell in dark and sin, my hand will stay. I will make the stars of night. I will make their darkness bright. But who will bear my light to them? Whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. This is I, Lord. I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead me. I will hold your people in my heart. I the Lord of snow and rain. I have borne my people's pain. I have wept for love of them. They turn away. I will break their hearts of stone. Give them hearts for love alone. I will speak my word to them, but whom shall I send? Here I am, Lord. Is it I, Lord? I have heard you calling in the night. I will go, Lord, if you lead Yes.
After 2 years of intensive seminary preparation, all the work that they did, in your assessment and discernment, do you believe that these seminarians are now ready for ordination?
Yes. Dean Maury, after 2 years of intensive seminary preparation, in your assessment and discernment, are these seminarians ready for ordination?
We were going to have to do some supplemental essay work next night. We thought they did such a good job. Let's just ordain them today. Yes, that's a yes. I'd like to now ask our visiting clergy and our alumni. Do you also believe, as we do, that these candidates and graduates are ready? If so, please stand. Did anybody make sense? Please extend your hands in blessing to our graduates. And in one voice, say in your own tradition a brief blessing as we begin a murmuration of prayer and blessings.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Now for the taking of your vows. Please stand.
Do you each believe that you have been truly and deeply called by the divine to serve in interfaith ministry? If so, please say, I do.
I do. Do you now, in the presence of the divine and these witnesses, commit yourself to this sacred trust and responsibility?
I do.
Do you promise to continue to deepen your spiritual path, and that the sacred service you offer to others may always be grounded in the integrity of an authentic and evolving spiritual life and practice?
I do. And do you promise to fulfill to the best of your ability the personal vows that you have taken in the witness and presence of your spiritual community?
I do.
Please come forward for ordination. Please hold your applause until all of the ordinees, the ordinate, have been blessed, anointed, and then presented. Reverend Caroline Hardenberg Perry. Reverend Elizabeth Benton. Reverend Linda Pantoja. Reverend Libby Parsons.
Please join me in congratulating the Thank you. Thank you, everyone. You may be seated. Reverends, you may return to your seats. As newly ordained interfaith ministers, they will begin their service in this moment, right now, because we will give them the opportunity to bless you, to bless all of you, and to bless one another. And so, as newly ordained interfaith ministers, we ask them to perform their very first blessing, and this will be done in the Sufi tradition. Please stand.
May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide with you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore.
You may be seated. Well, my beloved newly ordained reverends, we started out with 7 people, and everything is about timing, the right time, the right place. And it was the right time, the right place for you. The cream rose to the top because you were ready, and you persevered. I'm so proud of you. On our very first day of seminary, we participated in an exercise called I See You. The point of that exercise was to begin your interfaith studies with the understanding that we see you as the light that you are. And we want you to see each other and everyone that you come in contact as the light that they are. And from there, I've seen you in many different lights. I've seen you scared. just earlier today. I've seen you mad. Don't think I didn't notice when you were mad at me. I've seen you dance. I've seen you cry. I've seen you laugh a lot, mostly thanks to Dean Grace. I've watched your minds expand, and I've watched the capacity of your hearts to grow and to grow and to grow. You've shown so much reverence and respect for all that you've learned. And I'm here to tell you that I have great respect and reverence for each one of you. Congratulations on receiving and answering this call to ministry. This has been a deeply personal and profound experience for all of us. This spiritual commitment will affect every aspect of your life for the rest of your life. As an ordained interfaith minister, you are now assuming several responsibilities. For one, you vow to remain centered in the awareness of the presence of the divine within yourself and with everyone you come in contact with. Your new way of life from this day forward is to serve as an example to others. This call to ministry also expects you to serve as one who inspires others to observe and to follow their own indwelling divine spirit. This calling is a total allegiance to the divine. Your ministry will sometimes place you in a position of honor, so please remember to be humble. Receive those moments and proceed with gratitude and humility and wisdom, and with the understanding that all the good that comes through you is by the grace of divine. Your ministry moves you to be a spiritual guide to others, to convey to them by words and by way of example that you do see the light in them, just as we have seen the light in each one of you. I see you as I saw you that first day. I have always seen you, and I will continue to see you as sacred, as beloved, as called, and now as anointed. I saw you on that first day 2 years ago as a student. I see you today as a colleague. Welcome to ministry, dear Reverends. I love you and I bless you.
Congratulations, Reverends. Are you revved up? You know, Reverend in Latin is revere, an implication of awe. As Dean Maury so eloquently articulated, we are in awe of you. Now, while reverend is a noun, it is a noun, right? So all my teachers in the room. It really is a verb. Because to be a minister, to be a reverend, it's an ongoing and continuous action. It's important for you to remember, though, that you have always been ministers. And someone said it, this is ancient. This is an ancient calling and an ancient vocation that you have said yes to. In this lifetime and in lifetimes past, it is your karma to be ministers, to be reverends. Now, prior to coming to seminary, you have ministered to your families. Where are they? Raise your hands. Your friends, where are they? Raise your hands. Your clients, don't raise your hands, it's hot. And to all of your relations, you've been answering the call and saying yes all along. The seminary experience and this holy ordination, it's just a sacred formalizing and ritualizing of your role as an interfaith minister. You have prepared yourself emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, and you've done all the footwork. Dean Maury mentioned it earlier. And sometimes you are annoyed, but most of the time you were joyful, and always you were brilliant. And even being able to finally navigate the student website. You have engaged in a quantum leap of faith and answered a call from deep within yourself and from the ancestors. You heard the voice of the divine and have answered it with a resounding yes. Now you're stepping through yet another door, and from this moment on, nothing will be the same. Every word take, every tweet you make, every Facebook post you make it as a ministry. But be careful not to separate your work from your ministry, your family life from your ministry, your day-to-day life from your ministry. Take care not to compartmentalize your ministry from everything else that you do in your life, for just as the divine resides and permeates everything, so too your ministry resides and permeates everything. You have been called now at this time for a reason. So don't look to do the big things. Just be with all of the small things. To be extraordinary in the ordinary. In this world of 10,000 things, in this cosmic illusion, you are here as it unfolds. See and recognize each thing as it unfolds as the divine plan. You are here, you are ready. This is now to be the flute in the hands of the divine musician and to be the change that this world so desperately needs.
Here I am, making myself a chariot for the divine presence. Please repeat after me. Here I am.
Here I am.
Making myself a chariot.
Making myself a chariot.
For the divine presence.
For the divine presence.
Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary class of 2018 has elected one student to represent them and to offer her thoughts and reflections on their seminary experience on becoming an interfaith minister. Please welcome with us newly ordained Reverend Linda Panto.
Namaste.
Namaste.
dear family, friends, and special guests, on behalf of my newly ordained sisters and myself, I want to start by thanking each one of you for being here today. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you. We also want to thank Allah, Brahman, Hashem, Goddess, Mother Nature, the Divine, our God of many names, for the gift of this wonderful day, for the spiritual community that we have formed here this morning. Next, I would like you to ask yourselves, why are we here today? Why are we gathered in this beautiful chapel? Why are you here today? Please take a few seconds to silently think about this. And now, would you please turn to the person sitting to your right and share your answer? Please take a few more seconds. Or to your right or your left. Share, why are you here today? Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing with each other. And I'll be honest, I heard some of you, and this is what I heard you say. I heard, well, I am here because I was invited. Some others said, I am here because I am family of, I am friend of, and they mentioned the name of one of the students. Others said, well, the truth is, Reverend Grace and Reverend Dory told me I better be there. And many of you may have not verbalized it, but rightfully feel that we are here truly by divine appointment. If we go a bit deeper into our answers, we find a more meaningful and ground-shaking reason to be here today. The Most Reverend Bishop Michael Curry explained it best during his recent message at the royal wedding 3 weeks ago. We are here because of the power of love. You are here because you love someone that is here. You love them, and that love that you feel had you show up here today. Or maybe it is our love for the divine, for the Holy One, the Great Spirit that brought us here today. One way or the other, love is most likely the ground foundation of the reason for us to be here this morning. Because love is our true nature. We want to love, we want to be loved, we want to be loving. Love is all there is. Love is God, and God is love. Love, simply love, is love. We too, the newly ordained 2018 class of Sacred Interfaith Seminary, we too are here because of love. Let me share a little bit of our story and about our spiritual quest for the past 2 years. A quest which will for sure continue through eternity. A journey that explains how love brought us here today. Our names are Caroline, Libby, Lisa, and Linda. It is 4 of us, all female, all blessed with more than half a century years of life. Feel free to do the math. The 4 of us share both a profound love for the divine, and a deep willingness to become instruments of peace and love within ourselves, in our homes, in our communities, in our nation, in our world. These past 24 months, we received over 200 hours of instruction from our gurus, Dean Lori and Dean Grace, true prophets of the 21st century, both for whom we will be eternally grateful. They were supported by Assistant Deans, Sister Reverend Chris Drum and Reverend Mary Walker, both ordained ministers from Sacred Interfaith Seminary, and to whom we also forever express our gratitude. With the assistance and the guidance of these love light beacons, we studied intensively through the lens of each one of the 4 seminary pillars: wisdom, ritual, energy, and reflection. We read books, we turned in papers, we role-played, we met and heard from priests, rabbis, shamans, monks. We called each other, we created altars, we meditated alone and with each other. We answered questions, we asked questions. We also visited temples, churches, ashrams, a mosque, a synagogue, becoming one with the always very welcoming spiritual communities in each of these worship houses. We sang and chanted with them. We prayed, we praised, and we danced with them. We stood up, we sat down, we kneeled, and we prostrated with them. And these shared loving moments are part of the reason why we are here today. While we were studying, of course, life continued its normal path. So our hearts were some days saddened as we experienced the passing of loved ones, the loss of jobs, the loss of health, the loss of communication with family members, the breaking in of strangers in the sacred space we call home. But because, in fact, life is always happening, we also enjoy good news. We experienced the resurrection of joy and happiness as we celebrated the birth of a couple new babies, the return of family, the finding of new jobs, the recovery of health, the receiving of financial help. And we experienced laughter as we literally, playfully, released bubbles into the air and butterflies to the sky, literally. And right in the center of our seminary room, very recently, we also experienced the liberating power of forgiveness. And this true compassionate love is also why we are here today. During the past 48 hours, here at the Duncan Center, our last intensive retreat took place. We presented to the deans our personal statements of ministry, our personal code of ethics, and our vows and commitments. And a question that many of you have asked us throughout these past 2 years, and that we too have pondered ourselves, came up. And now what? Even though we may have some ideas or concrete plans in mind, more than everything, I must confess to you, as witnesses of our ordination today, that our biggest plan, our great plan as interfaith ministers is to try every day to surrender, to surrender to the will and to the power of love. This is why we are here today. With our minister credentials, we will enter hospitals, prisons, visit the sick, bless a couple and marry them. We might celebrate a memorial service, a baby, a pet blessing. This is why we are here today. And more importantly, as interfaith ministers, we recognize that the truth is one, but the wise call it by various names. And following that truth, we will practice with and serve to our universal siblings in the Christian, the Jewish, the Muslim, the Hindu, the Sikh, the Baha'i, or Buddhist communities, just to mention a few. Because we believe that every culture, every religion, every faith, and every spiritual path looks into a mirror that reflects the true face of God, the face of love, and that we are empowered by each of these various messages of love. This is why we are here today. How many of you heard the story of the French Spider-Man 2 weeks ago? The French Spider-Man 2 weeks ago? You heard it, right? Well, when Mamadou Gassama was interviewed, he said the reason that he climbed those 4 floors, like Spider-Man, to save that boy was because he loved children. He added during the interview that he thanked God for helping him. Now let's imagine for a moment that we all became spiritual Spider-Men and spiritual Spider-Women, or spiritual superheroes for that matter. We don't need to climb balconies or save lives. Simply jump the fences, cross the bridges, remove the walls and any other obstacles to extend our helping hands, our attentive ears, our kind hearts. Right at home, let's start there. In our families, to our friends and neighbors, one loving day at a time. This is why we're here today. Just like Gassama, as interfaith ministers, we are ready to let go. We are ready to surrender and to let divine love guide us. After all, that is what our world needs the most these days. As faith people, we recognize that we can each do our part, each of us, each one of us. As Saint Mother Teresa once invited us, just by doing small things with great love. Therefore, we intend to live our lives seeking to promote understanding, harmony, peace, and love among all people. And this is why we're here today. And we intend to spread the message and to do our very best to respond to every call to love, even without our stones. Simply as Caroline, as Lily, as Lisa, and as Linda. And as so, we pray for God's help, and we count with you to continue to feel inspired every day to surrender little by little, as we did today, showing up and saying yes to the all-inclusive, accepting, unconditional power, the power of love. Let's continue to surrender to this power allowing it to surround us, to enfold us, to embrace us, to enshrine us. This higher love is why we met here today. May this higher love fill our lives and guide us all through the rest of our sacred journeys. Namaste.
We bless this very sacred day and give thanks for each and every heart that beats in this chapel with the love and the determination needed to bring more light, more peace, more love into this world. We give thanks in all the many names of our divine. Amen. Blessed be.
On behalf of the Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary, we want to extend again our deep gratitude to our Spiritual Advisory Board, our esteemed clergy, faculty, benefactors, invited guests, family and friends of the Ordinates. And if you felt moved, did you feel moved? Yes. Raise your hand if you felt moved. Very good. So if you feel called to interfaith ministry, we'd like you to check us out on our website at www.sacredjourneyinterfaithseminary.org and help the seminary to expand with your presence, if you've been called to ministry, or your contributions so that we can expand the seminary and help foster our student scholarship fund. In the back of the vestibule, as you exit, on the left, there's this beautiful basket which is calling to you. It's calling to you. See, Sheikh Shafai, you have taught me very well the responsibility of the community to support. So thank you for that teaching. So anyway, please, we honor and accept graciously any donations that you have for us. And please spread the word about Sacred Journey Interfaith Seminary so that we can facilitate more seminarians to answer the call that they have been given by the divine. We ask that you please remain seated as we have a recessional with our esteemed clergy, the deans, the faculty, the ordinates, and our junior class, our seminarians. And then we want to just remind you that we are all meeting, the newly ordained are meeting in stall A, and that is for your clergy ID cards, your certificates, and your letters. Comes upon my heart. Thank you. Thank you for being part of this.
So, yeah, but I don't see shit. All I see is finish.
I feel like my birthday.